Hey there, do you feel like you want to retire, but you don't have enough money saved up yet? Well, me too. But I recently walked away from my corporate job at the age of 55 without having nearly as big of a nest egg as I would like to have. In fact, I'm short about $1,000, $2,000 a month, but I did it anyway. Why? Because I realized that the logic I had been following, which told me I had a money problem, was actually wrong all along. I didn't have a money problem. We all actually have a time, energy, and health problem. That's what we should be solving for. So fast forward, last week, I was watching a video by this guy named Evan in Vietnam, and he said out loud exactly what I had been thinking all along. And I realized that he was absolutely right, because you can always make more money, but once your time or energy or mobility are gone, you're probably not going to get those back. So that's what you need to be solving for, not money. And his reasons lined up almost perfectly with mine. So if you're waiting on the perfect time to retire or to have enough money, then this video is for you, because I'm going to share the rationale of why you're solving for the wrong problem and back it up with cold hard data. So a quick note though, I reached out to Evan after I saw that video and got his blessing to make this video. And if you are in his tribe, then take this video as validation that the guy knows what he's talking about. I'm Ryan, and I'm recently retired, now in the Philippines. I'm on a 6-month trip to Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines to find the perfect place for me to retire to on about a $1,600 a month budget. But before I give you my take and Evan's take, let's look at some data that backs this up. It's not just something we've made up. This shows that workers' physical health, as reported by them, where they rate themselves as excellent or very good, is just 45%. That's a decline of 16% in 2 years. On their emotional well-being, that's at only 45% positive, which is down 52% from 2 years ago. And for financial well-being is excellent or very good, that's only 37%, down from 46%, 9 percentage points down in just 2 years. So that's from the Employee Benefit Research Institute. And they've been running the survey for about 36 years. Every year they survey over 1,000 people. So here's what this data is actually telling us, that in just 2 years, the share of workers who say that their physical health is excellent or very good dropped by 16 percentage points. That's not a rounding error. That, to me, feels like a total collapse. And nearly 17% is reporting that their health is either fair or poor. So this is probably you. You're probably trading your time for money. And what's the consequences of that? Your mental well-being and your physical well-being is probably on the decline. So if you notice that you're getting older, getting fatter, losing energy, feeling more burned out, well, you're not alone. This data shows us that most corporate workers are feeling the exact same way. And the numbers are getting worse, not better. The trend is going in the wrong direction. So by and large, people are working harder for less money with more negative outcomes. That doesn't make any sense. And that was Evan's point. He got 55,000 views so far on his video. So this is obviously hitting a nerve in people. They realize that this is true. So most people are solving for the wrong problem because they think they have a money problem when actually they have a physical well-being problem and an emotional well-being problem. And as you know, when your health declines, it's really difficult to get that back. And when you've given up years of your life, you never get that back. So that's the most important thing, not the money. For me personally, I told you my budget fell short by about $1,000 a month. But once I realized this and this all clicked for me, I decided to pull the trigger and retire anyway. Your time and your health are far more important than money ever will be. You should be maximizing for years where you have energy, enthusiasm, and mobility. Because when those start to decline or go completely, you don't get them back. And certainly with time, you never get those years back. So Evan and I are in complete agreement that you are probably solving for the wrong problem. So we're advocating retiring early, but with the strategy I'm about to lay out for you, you actually don't have to sacrifice your financial well-being to live a great life. So experts generally say in the United States, you need somewhere between $2 to $4 million to have a comfortable retirement in America. And they're not wrong. But what's the key phrase there? In America. And if that's your financial goal, With inflation, you're probably losing ground, right? I know I was. In fact, I just published a video, which I'll link to below and maybe above, that shows what it takes to live overseas where I'm at now in the Philippines and how you can do that easily on $1,600 a month, where an equivalent lifestyle in the United States is closer to $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Maybe even more. So a $1,600 a month budget, yeah, that's really only about 25% of what it takes to live well in the United States. But here's one point to keep in mind. Even though there's inflation in the United States and people think the dollar is getting weaker because of currency printing by our government, that's true. But with currencies, it's all relative. In Japan, in the Philippines, in Thailand, and in Vietnam, their currencies are actually getting weaker relative to the US dollar. So the purchasing power of your US dollars is actually improving. You get more every month. That's deflation, right? And who doesn't want some deflation where your money goes further? But in order to enjoy that benefit, you have to leave the United States. But you can have a great lifestyle outside the United States in most countries of the world for $1,500, $1,600 a month. So retiring overseas, especially to Southeast Asia, makes a lot of sense financially. Now, that deflation may not continue forever, I admit. But here's a key to this whole strategy, and it goes back to that idea of trying to solve for a money problem. When you retire overseas, especially in Southeast Asia, not only do you not need nearly as much money to get by, but if there is a shortfall in your budget, like there is in mine, you can easily take on a side hustle to make up the gap. So you actually don't have a money problem. You have a cost of living problem, and you're sacrificing your best years right now to solve for a money problem, when you could retire early, come overseas, and have the best of all possible worlds. So about the side hustle thing, there's easy options there. Let's get into that. You could do something like what I'm doing, which is have a YouTube side hustle. Although I admit my primary motivation is to help people like you not to make money, but certainly I'll take income when it eventually comes. But you could also do hourly coaching or consulting. You could get a part-time job. You could teach English online. There is no shortage of viable side hustles that tens of thousands of Americans are already taking advantage of, living overseas to supplement their income, and they have a lot of fun most of the time in the process. So this isn't a revolutionary idea. This isn't something brand new or that's pie in the sky. It's actually a really doable strategy that lots of people are already doing, people just like you. So by taking on a side hustle, adding it to what you already have saved up, and going to a place where your dollars go much further, you've basically solved the money problem, and you'll get back 5, 10, 15 years of your life that you might otherwise spend grinding away in the United States, all for what? To get a standard of living and a lifestyle that you could have today. Once it all clicks for you in your head, like it did for me, I think you'll see the light, and the logic of it will just make a whole lot of sense. At that point, you just have to do a little research to figure out what are some viable countries or country to retire to, figure out how much it takes to live there. And by the way, I just published a tool that is super simple, where you just answer 10 questions and it will spit out the number for you that you need to retire on comfortably overseas. And then you just look at that monthly number, look at your existing financial situation, and if there's a gap there, you just figure out a side hustle that you would enjoy doing to make up that difference. Because $200 or $300 or $400 made overseas can go a really long way to bump up your standard of living. And you might just have fun in the process doing it. Everyone jokes in the United States about becoming a Walmart greeter when they get old. And yeah, that doesn't sound like much fun, but I'm really enjoying doing my YouTube side hustle, and I think you might too. So one of the big objections that I hear though is, Ryan, what if I don't like it over there? What if I pick a country, I put all my eggs in one basket, I move there, and I find out it sucks? Well, that's a great question. And you can do what I'm doing, which is to not pick one country, to actually pick 3 countries and rotate your time among them. There's several advantages to that, so let me share those. The first and most important for me is variety. I think variety is the spice of life. I want to enjoy different lifestyles at different times of the year and go to where the crowds are the thinnest, the weather is the best, where there's no pollution, and that tends to be a seasonal thing. So that's why I'm scouting cities in Thailand, Philippines, and Vietnam, because I would love to have a cooler mountain town to spend time in, a beach town to enjoy beach vibes, and something more urban, big city, and just rotate my time among those countries. That way, if the currency in that country suddenly gets strong and my dollars don't go as far, I don't have all my eggs in one basket. I can just rotate to the next country and spend my money there. There's also the potential for visa concerns. Like if you can't get your visa renewed, the rotation strategy solves for that. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Pick 3 countries, research and visit 3 countries like I'm doing, and then when you find the ideal locations, rotate among those. Not only does it give you the variety and the lifestyles that you want, it lets you see more countries and have a lot of fun. It prevents you from getting locked into one place that just may not work out for whatever reason. And it slows down your withdrawal rate, keeping it as low as possible for as long as possible, which is essentially protecting your nest egg. So now that you know, you shouldn't be solving for a money problem because you can go overseas where it's much more affordable, have a fantastic lifestyle, and if there's still a gap in your income, you can take on a fun side hustle and really start living today, the life of your dreams. So one objection, some people feel that this is a risky strategy, but you know what's even more risky? Staying in the United States, giving up another 10 or 15 years of your life to a corporation that doesn't care about you, sacrificing your health in the process, and by the time you're ready to retire, you could have a serious health issue or a mobility issue that prevents you from actually enjoying what ought to be the best years of your life. That's the risky thing, not having enough money. So this may seem like an adventurous strategy to you, but you don't want to die with a regret. A lot of people on their deathbed wish they had taken a few more chances in life. So that's what I'm advising you to do. Think about it. If you're planning on saving up $2 to $4 million and you've got to give the best years of your life, another 10 or 15 years possibly, to a corporation that doesn't care about you, all to have enough money so that you can retire in the United States, get the heck out of there like I am. And come over here to Southeast Asia, where you'll be appreciated, respected, where your money goes far, and you can have a variety of cultures and lifestyles to keep your life fun and interesting. So Evan argued in his video for this theory, and I'm actually implementing this theory in my real life, and I'm actually documenting it here on YouTube for you in real time. So make sure you like and subscribe and go on the journey with me so I can prove that it actually works. So what would be your next step in this journey? Well, a little bit of research and a little bit of financial planning, but I'm providing to you a budget tool where you just answer a few simple questions. The link is below, and those questions will spit out a number that you can use to really know how much you need in your retirement account to make this happen. Tens of thousands of Americans and Canadians are already implementing this approach, so it does work. You just have to consider it for yourself and realize that it's a viable solution for you, and I'm here to help. I've got videos, I've got budgeting tools, I've got all of the information you need linked below to begin this journey. So now that you've heard the whole strategy and you've seen the data that backs it up, how do you feel about it? What are you thinking? Let me know in the comments below. It helps you and it helps me because then I can respond to your comment in the form of a video and address your biggest concerns. Yes, people have concerns and fears and hesitations. That's totally normal, but I'm here to guide you past those and help you pull the trigger. So let me know what's on your mind and I'll see you in the next video. So long.